So, guys, this is topic one, lesson five, example one. And our goal for this is to solve equations that have squares and cubes in them. Now, this is very similar to lesson four that we've already looked at. And if you understood lesson four about area being something that you can get the square root of to figure out the side lengths, and the side lengths doing the side lengths and squaring them, you will also understand this lesson very well. So how can you solve equations with squares and cubes is our goal. Let's see if we can accomplish that goal. So
Think
let's
about this
check it out.
question during the lesson. Darius is restoring a square tabletop. The area of the tabletop is 25 square feet.
So guys, you should know something already from the last lesson, and that is, hey, the area is equal to 25. Can I figure out what the side lengths are? Many of you actually may already know what these side lengths are going to be.
He wants to finish the outside edges with a piece of decorative molding. What total length of molding will Darius need? Darius begins by drawing a diagram to represent the tabletop. He needs to find the length of the sides. Use the formula A equals S squared to find each side length.
Guys, keep this in mind and make sure you write this down. Area equals side squared. That is how you find the area of a square. You'll need to know that for later on in the school year. So this will connect all school year. One lesson is always going to lead to another. So please make sure this is in your notes.
Darius knows A is equal to 25. So 20.
Guys, notice how they replaced A with 25. We know that. That's because that's something we know. So this A right here is actually just a variable, and so is S squared. And we know that A means area, and we know that S means side length. So we know when we look at the picture that A is equal to 25. Therefore, we can replace A with 25 and start turning it into math, not just letters.
25 equals S squared. To solve, take the square root of both sides of the equation.
Guys, the reason they take the square root of both sides of the equation is because the inverse operation of squaring something is to do the square root. So it is. I say opposite a lot, but I mean inverse operation. So if you take the inverse of this side, it's the square root of S squared. But if you do that in an equation on this side, you must keep the equation equal by doing it to the other side as well. So anytime we do some type of operation to one side, we have to do it to the other side.
Why does Darius find the square root instead of the cube root to determine the side length of the square?
And very simply, guys, we find the square root because we are dealing with a square. We're not dealing with a cube here. So we're going to find the square root and not the cube root.
Darius needs to find the length of a square, given its area. The side length is squared, not cubed for area.
If you start this activity, we could do the activity very quickly. Drag the point along the line. So if we just take this point, we drag it. Okay, look, there are two square roots for 25. Now, here's the reason there are two square roots for 25. The reason we have two answers to all square roots are because 5 times 5, positive 5 times positive 5 is equal to 25. But we also know that negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. So there are two actual answers. We just have to figure out which one makes sense. So what's really important for your notes again is that you write down in your notes that there are two answers to all square root problems. One is positive and one is negative. In this case, positive 5 and negative 5. Okay, and also right now you can see, let me go back one here. You can see that they wrote S equals plus minus 5. That symbol in math just means that it could be a positive 5 or it could be a negative 5. And if we slide this over, you will see that S equals 5 or S equals negative 5. So all of this right here basically is telling you the same thing.
In general, an equation of the form x squared equals p, where p is a positive rational number, has two solutions. x is equal to positive or negative the square root of p. So the equation has two solutions. Which value of s will Darius use? Select your answer.
Guys, I've already selected this answer for you, and you can see that I selected the answer 5. The reason that we select the positive answer in this case is because we know that distances or lengths cannot be negative. Okay, we cannot have a negative distance. Our side length cannot be a negative 5 feet. It can only be a positive 5 feet. So therefore, although it has two answers, we are only using the positive answer because we are dealing with a distance.
The length of each side of the tabletop is 5 feet. Darius needs a total of 20 feet of decorative molding. Now you know how to solve an equation using a square root.